Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, you might have heard that Disney had a wonderful, lovely little investors call the other day, and it was very, very enlightening. It was very, very entertaining because color me shocked there. Disney came up short on what a lot of expectations were, and it has caused their stock to actually drop by 10%, which of course is nothing more than hilarious, no matter which way you want to put it. And that is something that you should kind of expect at this point. This is something that we've been talking about for quite a long time. The fact that Disney has potentially gone against its own consumers, gone against its own customers, gone against its own fans, repeatedly ignoring what the fan base wants, ignoring what people want to talk about, ignoring what the kind of movies and franchises people want to see, and ignoring the characters, or decimating and destroying a lot of beloved characters and franchises along the way. So guess what? This is exactly what they deserve. Their fan base has completely and totally abandoned them for the most part, of all the actual hardcore, all the actual original fans, the ones that show up to things and actually spend money, and that's been very apparent by their box office numbers, and that's been very apparent by their streaming numbers, which is something they spend absolutely billions of dollars on and is completely and totally in the toilet right now. They plan on making it profitable by fall. Well, that merger with Hulu and all of a sudden that giant acquisition of subscribers is the only reason they're going to even be able to slightly claim that. And if they keep bleeding subscribers even after the Hulu merger, there's a very good possibility that even in the fall, that won't be profitable the way they claimed. And boy, you think what happened, them coming in a little short on their earnings call the other day, took their stock a major hit, like 10% hit on their stock. Boy, wait until you see it. That happens, because that is something that Bob Iger and all of Disney has been promising since the inception of Disney Plus, and it has failed time and time again. And they have no shows on the horizon that are sparking any interest, and their numbers continue to tank over and over again. Well, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, there is a beautiful and delicious headline over here from The Wrap that I simply could not resist, because this is the tide turning. We had heard rumors for a little while that was saying that Bob Iger was essentially told that he had 1 year, that Wall Street saved his butt from Nelson Peltz on that proxy board fight. Now, given it's just a rumor, but they said that he would only have 1 year to fix this. Next year, Wall Street was not going to have his back if Disney continued to go that way. And more evidence of that being true, this headline right here from The Wrap, just today. Wall Street turns its back on Disney's streaming profit milestone. They don't believe it's going to happen. We don't believe it's going to happen. And guess what? It falls right on this man's shoulders, Bob Iger. This guy right here is responsible for the destruction of every one of your favorite franchises over the last 20 years since he has been in charge of Disney. And yes, I know, the Chapek era, that lasted like all of 30 seconds, okay? And Bob Iger never even gave up his CEO suite, okay? The guy was never gone. He was running the show the entire time and just wanted to come in like a white knight, conveniently left right before all of the government shutdowns happened, let Bob Chapek take the fall for everything that happened and all of the fallout that happened in Florida, and then came in like the white knight. Well, that white knight's turning out to look like an idiot in absolute junk armor, if not nothing more than pots and pans he found in his grandmother's kitchen. Because this is not going well, and at least now, finally, even Wall Street, the people that are finally thinking about money again and not in agendas, are going, hey, this ain't working. So this is a beautiful thing. Let's check this article out. We'll get into it and check out all the juicy details, see what we agree with, see what we disagree with, and see what we can pontificate on with all of the wonderful details. But before we do, if you do enjoy this channel and you do enjoy our content, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below, because all of that really pushes us out in the algorithm. And we just crossed our monetization milestone back on YouTube again at the Common Nerds channel, and we're doing great over on Rumble and all of our wonderful platforms out there. So please, if you haven't already, subscribe and or follow, join the team, thinking about becoming a member, financially supporting if you can. If not, like I said, just hit that like button. It really does help out. And join us on Rumble for all of our live streams Monday through Friday at 11 a.m., just like the lovely little scroller down at the bottom says, on several times throughout this video. So let's get into this. With the lingering impacts of the Hollywood strike still weighing in on its studios, oh yes, it's all the strike's fault. You love how they don't actually blame this on what it is. It has nothing to do with the fact that, I don't know, your box offices have been a disaster, that everything Disney puts out fails and ends up costing them hundreds of millions of dollars. And now, and Disney Plus has cost them billions of dollars. No. They're still trying to blame the strike. A year later, they are still trying to blame the strike. Now, given obviously it did shut everything down and you're not going to have a lot of productions going forward because of that, but there's more to it than that. Disney turned a quarterly profit of $47 million with Disney Plus and Hulu. The first time those two entertainment streamers ended a quarter in the black, the company said Tuesday. Why? Because they merged the two. Now they're one company. So all those losses and all those wins get jammed together. So technically, you can argue there's a profit to be made on the books. But we all know that doesn't make up for the billions of dollars that they have invested in Disney Plus over the last few years. That's just not money that they've had to invest in Hulu. Hulu was a fully functioning system right from the get-go that a lot of people really already enjoy. So yeah, this is the funny little stuff they do that. Yet despite hitting the milestone 2 quarters ahead of schedule and trimming its overall streaming losses by 97%, Wall Street punished Disney's stock, sending shares down more than 9%. What was going on? Disney could only declare a streaming profit without including ESPN Plus, which continues to struggle, losing $65 million in the quarter. And Disney said its overall streaming business would still be unprofitable in its next quarter and not truly turn the corner until the fourth quarter or more likely next year. Exactly. Only because they combined the two were they able to make it look like it was profitable. But they know as soon as this is all over, as soon as now that merger's done, you can't make that argument anymore. It's done. It's over. Some analysis also pointed to a new reality setting in for Disney. The once high-flying company, which was a hit machine in the heyday of Marvel superhero fever, may be setting into an unsustained period of slower but steady growth. No, growth? Have you seen the box office numbers? We all said all along the path to profitability will not be linear. Bob Iger, of course, told the analysts. While we're anticipating a softer third quarter due in large part to the seasonality of our Indian sports offerings, you're blaming your sports offerings on your overall quarterly impact. Yeah, just ignore the elephant in the room, Bob. It's worked out well so far. So we don't care what he has to say, right? Bob Iger's going to blow up a bunch of nonsense. He's going to talk about, oh, look, the Deadpool and Wolverine movie's coming out and it's going to be a hit. And yes, of course it's going to be a hit. Is it going to make $1 billion? Probably not, because it's an R-rated movie. But that has happened before, so it is a possibility. At the exact same time, even if that movie makes $1 billion, even if its budget's only $250 million, even if theoretically, let's just give the little sycophants and the pixie dusters out there that are just high on Disney's supply credit. Say it profits them $750 million. They lost $1.6 billion last year. That doesn't even cover half of their losses. And there's no way, after marketing and theater cut and everything else, that they make $750 million in profit on that movie. It's not going to happen. That's impossible. I do think Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be good. I'm excited to see it. I think a lot of people are excited to see it. But no, Bob, it's not going to save your company. It's just a, look, we got one shiny little dangly key. But guess what, Bob? Wall Street's not buying it anymore. That's why you're getting headlines like this from The Wrap. The Wrap, Bob. Boy, how you've lost your Iger. Cecile Iger is preaching patience, aggressively cutting costs and improving margins while tweaking the content machine, which could position it for better long-term growth, analysis said. I think some of these analysts are getting high on their own supply. So while Disney investors expected more fireworks, particularly on the future guidance front, I think this report indicates the company has titled its operation back to its core business model. Yeah, no, they're slashing because they're broke. They don't have a choice. This is not an option or a direction Bob Iger wanted to go in. The company's broke, okay? You can't lose billions of dollars at the box office. You can't lose billions of dollars on a streaming service. You can't be losing money at your parks and not be able to have to do cost cutting. That's why we saw the thousands upon thousands of layoffs over the last couple of years at Disney. And now it's why we see them talking about, oh, we're going to reduce our content. We're probably only going to put like 3 Marvel movies out a year and 1 television show now. Boy, I wonder why. Because everything you've put out has been junk. And you're broke now. You're out of money. Now, is Disney going to close shop and go bankrupt? No, that's never going to happen. Disney will get sold off for its assets before that ever happens. Disney as an entity will always exist in some form, shape, or otherwise, right? You're never going to see a closed for business sign out there. They own too much, right? But will you see? This is how you know they're hurting. This is how you know you have hurt them. We have hurt them. How they've hurt themselves by deciding to go down a path of ideology over substance, content, and honestly just good writing. They decided to go, you know what? This person needs to be seen on screen. It's so important that this person is seen on screen. Not to bother with the fact that they had 0 acting talent. They were completely wrong for the role. And anybody that read the source material was going to know this was jacked up and an issue. And guess what? We were right. All your movies bombed. All your television shows failed. And now we're just sitting out here laughing at you. And it's great because we got plenty of other things to watch. We got plenty of other shows to go check out. You know, we got the Epic Verse coming. We want comics. We got the Rippaverse. You know, there's a whole bunch of more independents out there. We got our friends Jason Sandberg, everybody over at fundmycomic.com. You know, we don't need them anymore. There's a lot of great independent stuff coming out right now. Video games are still the most predominant industry in the world for entertainment. We got great indie stuff coming out of there. And it's only a matter of time before we get the exact same thing with all of this. AI is becoming more and more advanced all of the time. We're going to get more and more independent shows using AI technology. And guess what? As long as they've got good storytelling, you're not going to matter what made the animatronics behind the animations behind it. Because it's going to look good and you're going to be happy with it. And it's going to be better storytelling than what we've got. Technology is going to cause Hollywood to be completely and totally decentralized. And that is the best thing in the world that could possibly happen for it. Mark my words. That's why we're seeing this absolute retraction. So it goes on to talk about what the CFO did, but streaming in the future now represents 28% of Disney's overall revenues, though thus far, none of the profits. Weighing down Disney's overall streaming business is the sports app ESPN Plus, which continues to disappoint. Disney plans to launch a fully direct-to-consumer version of ESPN in fall 2025. Star India continues to hurt its overall profits. Star India's impairment charge was a result of Disney entering into an $8.5 billion deal with Reliance Industries. Yeah, remember when they were back bragging about, subscriber numbers. It's because they were literally offering Disney Plus in India for like, I think it was an equivalent to like 15 cents American, right? 15 cents US dollars, USD. So yeah, they were literally losing money on every subscriber in India, but it looked good to the investors at the quarterly reports. Look how good our numbers are. Except guess what? Everybody figured out that those numbers don't mean anything because they don't equal out to money. When you're giving a 99% discount on your streaming service and you're spending $300 million on an 8-episode television show. Yeah, at some point, 2 plus 2 does still equal 4, and the bill man does come due. And that's why we're seeing this. That's why we're seeing Disney's contraction. Yeah. And there's no escaping that Disney's linear TV networks continue to be an irreversible drag on earnings, which include ABC, FX, and National Geographic. So our income plummet to 22% and $752 million of $2.7 billion, or 12% of the total company's total revenues. He tried saying Shogun, but that's a one hit. That's a one good show. That's not going to bring everything back. Yet even as Iger survived a recent activist shareholder revolt, investors on Tuesday were looking for more clarity on long-delayed succession plan for Iger, whose contract runs through the end of 2026. It got little. A board-appointed succession plan committee is meeting on a regular basis, Iger said, and I'm confident they will choose the right person at the right time. Bob Iger will have to be dragged out of that seat, kicking and screaming. He has no desire whatsoever to actually do something. And boys and girls, how is that causing the stock to react? Why did that headline from the Wrap say Wall Street has turned its back, even though despite all of the BS that Iger and his CFO tried to float? This right here. This is your evidence. This is all you need to know. 105. Look at that plummet right there. $10 drop. $10 drop. 1 day. $10 in 1 day. Do you have any idea what that cost people like Ike Perlmutter and Nelson Peltz and whoever else is one of those crazy people that owns like billions of dollars in stock of the Walt Disney Company? That wipes out hundreds of millions of dollars of their worth in 1 day. I wonder why Wall Street's not happy with Disney. I wonder why they're not happy with Bob Iger. Oh, and once again, the lack of any real succession plan. Because color is shocked. Bob Iger doesn't want to let go of power because Bob Iger has destroyed the company. He once was lauded as the hero, the great leader, the great champion of the Walt Disney Company, ruling over and lording over a golden age. Except the Bob Iger was always nothing more than a man built on a house built on sand, because he was just good at buying things. And fortunately enough, the things he bought came with a lot of really great creative talent that did ride us through some great years of Disney content, Marvel content, Pixar content, regular Disney animation content. Can't say the same thing for Star Wars, unfortunately, because they literally, all the creatives that were involved with Lucasfilm, they fired them all, and they completely ignored George Lucas's rough draft. So color shock there. We never really got anything good from that. But that's the only reason any of that stuff was profitable. It never had anything to do with Bob Iger. He was good at schmoozing and he was good at politicking. And that's the problem. His politics got in the way. Bob Iger decided to prioritize politics over what was best for the Walt Disney Company, what was best for its investors, and most importantly, what was best for its fans. They ignored us. They ignored you. They chose ideology and identity politics. People having their priorities. Well, we have to educate these people. This stuff has to be shown. It's not happening fast enough, so we have to force it. We have to force it all. And you're going to take it, and you're going to like it. Tell that's not how it goes. 2 + 2 equals 4. Up is still up, and down is still down. Gravity still exists, and you're still subject to its laws. And guess what? Economics, laws are the exact same way. Simple. We all learned it in grade school. Supply and demand. Bob, the demand for all of your nonsense, all of your ideological content, all getting your representation, and people being sane. I can be seen. I can see myself in that character. All of that. Yeah, guess what? There's no demand for it, Bob. There's no demand for it. And you bet the house on it. And now your house is falling. Now your house is crumbling. It just sucks for the fans the most because we've lost a lot in this. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, take solace in the fact that you have damaged one of the longest, largest, and formerly greatest entertainment companies in history. You, the fans, have done that. The people have the power. We, the people, have the power. And we will continue to prove that to Hollywood and anyone else out there in the entertainment industry that decides to go down this path. And they will crumble, and they will fall, and they will contract, just like the Walt Disney Company. And like I always like to remind each and every one of you, at the end of the day, all of the franchises like Marvel and Star Wars and Pixar that you all knew and loved, the destruction of that, at the end of the day, lies at one person and one person's feet only, Bob Iger. And we'll make sure everyone remembers that going forward for all of history.